top of the morning, day, afternoon, night, whatever you're having yourself, Your Honour.
Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Yes, Katie, well done. 10 out of 10. But we are a wee bit out of sync with Monday missing and all that sort of stuff as well. It threw us off a wobble. Monday was a bank holiday. It was a day off for some. Not for us.
Yep.
These are the journey we're on. What do you think? Huh? Matching his and hers. Look at yours. Look, very nice. I do like that green, Katie. It is lovely. It is lovely.
I love the green.
And the green and the black as well. Our friends in Ecklandville have the Old Comer coming now very soon. I know that it's going to be their own distillate. It's going to be the pot still of the Ecklandville estate. Thanks to Charlie, Seamus Ogue, Stephen, Peter, Shane, all the guys down there, Norma, all the young song heroes that make Seamus and Stephen look good. Nothing would make Charlotte look good. I mean, if the truth be known. If anybody else does want to donate clothing to us, make sure you send up an XL and an L. We're quite happy to wear your brands in our videos, and we may even wear them out and about when we're in town. Yes. Thank you very much.
Massive scab.
Yes, thank you. Talking about disruptors. I mean, again, I wanted to. It's tough every month trying to come up with different ideas and different thoughts and different ways to approach the bottles that we've got. We have the same bottles many months in a row, so you come from a different angle, trying to sort of talk about them and give people some information and ask questions and give opinions and
not be boring.
No, I don't think we could ever be described as being boring, Katie. Well, you maybe. People.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Waterford. If you swing around there, Ellen, we will look at Waterford and the various bottles that come from not only Waterford but Mark Reynier himself. Mark Reynier was the man behind Bruichladdich Distillery in Scotland on the island of Islay. There's one for you. Again, he has always been a disruptor. He's always been an innovator. He's been, he's done things that are different. When he moved on from Bruichladdich, I think a lot of people know the story of that. But when he moved on from Bruichladdich, he's now applying that same approach to Waterford. Mm-hmm. And we've also got a bottle of the Renegade Rum up there, which is his brand as well in the Caribbean. It's his rum brand, Renegade. That's one of them there, pure cane, real rum. But he's sort of...
Do you like a bit of rum, Ellie, don't you?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I think Ellen did drink it and we've seen it. No comment. But he's following a tried and tested path for him. Everything he's done is about being innovative and being different. From talking about the wine terminology of cuvées and terroir and all these sort of things. I mean, again, we know terroir exists. It's bound to, because again, when we talk about Ecklandville, we know that they're going to do grow their own barley, malt their own barley, distill it, mash it, bottle it. Everything's going to be done on the farm. There's a lot of brands that's going to be doing it. Tipperary's doing it. Ballykeefe's doing it. Tomangate's going to be doing it. There's a lot of brands that's going to be doing it, and they're all going to sort of have that uniqueness and showcase the area that it's from. But these went one further. These sort of started talking about the single farm origin of each grain that was in each, coming from each farm. The nuances that's in the grain. People argue, does it get lost in the distillation process? Yada, yada, yada. For me, I go one step further. I'd say, well, why didn't they take a single cask product? So a single cask, single farm origin thing. I mean, to me, that would have really...
So it's not changing the maturation?
It's not changing, but we know that, same distillate on the same day in two identical barrels that come from the same source. You've got two different whiskies. Does it show in 3 to 5 year old whiskey? Maybe not so much. If it had a longer maturation, I suppose it more. The bottles that he used, again, Alan, look at the bottles themselves. The bottles were gorgeous and they were different again. We hadn't seen anything like that in quite a while. The blue bottles, like old pharmacy bottles, the ridging on them, the colours of the label, the glass stopper was something that was different as well. Again, all things that he done that were different than everybody else. It got people talking. It got a lot of fans initially. People then started to wane when there was... I mean, that's the problem with being a collectible brand. Everybody went mad and wanted to collect all the farms. And then when they realised there was going to be lots of farms, and there was going to be 1.1s and 1.2s and 1.3s and all that, and then people went...
Yeah.
Have enough of that shite.
Yes.
That was their exact words.
It was, and we've heard that.
And it was, and people then changed, and they started selling the bottles, and they started the price started to, as they got more common in the market, the price came back. I think they were overpriced at the start. I think
they had to pay for the blue glass, baby.
I get it, but they made that decision to do that. Now I know people make that decision to buy the thing, but again, it would have got a lot more people engaged. Ultimately, they want people tasting the whiskey. Every brand wants people drinking the whiskey because that's how they retain customers. Collectors are great. I'm a collector. We're great. But you need people drinking the whiskey. I mean, you need people drinking the whiskey, getting engaged with the brand, liking what they're doing, and talking about it and, you know, continuing it. I mean, again, you know, every whiskey person that I'd know would have their favourites. They'd always have a bottle of something on the shelf. They'll always have a Redbreast 12 or an 1808 or a bottle of Waterford or whatever the case may be. And they need that. And brands need that to support them and pay the bills and all that sort of stuff. I think it was very short-sighted coming out at the higher price. I think, again, it sort of disillusioned a lot of people. And as I say, you know, then... The cuvée, the Grand Cuvée, the Pilgrimage is the first one that was out under that sort of style, that moniker, cuvée. I thought that's originally what they were going to do, that they were going to have seasonal whiskies. They were going to have a core release, a core brand, but then they were going to have seasonal cuvées per se, and then each year there'd be a grand cuvée. Yeah. I don't know any other terminology for that. It's only the wine words that we use.
Yeah.
You know, is there a seasonal blend? Do you call it that? Do you call it a grand blend for the year? If it's a single malt, if they're trying to stick at that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's very confusing.
It is very confusing, and unfortunately it got lost in translation somewhere along the line. If brands don't tell the story right, they lose people. And I've had this conversation so many times with so many different brands. You know, you've really got to engage with the people. You've got to get them on your side. You've got to have people talking to you.
And you have to tell them the whole story, not a bit of it.
Oh, well, there's certain stories out there that all make you up shit.
No, I mean, you know, if you're going to do something like this, explain to them that it's a series of farms.
From the start.
From the very start.
Yeah. And have no ambiguity
exactly.
about it at all.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And Teeling's made the same mistake with the pot still.
with the pot still,
I mean... Now we all know that
it was
single pot still 1 was the start of an evolution of the whiskey, but they didn't tell us that
at the beginning.
Or they did, and they didn't communicate it very well. Everybody needs to know, and everybody needs to know about that. Is that's the plan? Bruichladdich, as I say, was definitely won a lot of fans with the stuff that they were doing. These are some of the different farms, and again, you can see, like, they're talking about the fields of this one. You know, the Bear Barley. And this one, you know, Kentraw Farm, Foreland. It's obviously a bit of land that's on it. Clonakilty, I know that Clonakilty are doing, like, with the lighthouse. We've been down in the fields. Lucky enough, we had one of them experiences with Irish Whiskey Experiences where we were down drinking the whiskey from the field, in the field.
Yeah.
That roots you. I mean, that even the Mickle thing that we done a couple of weeks ago, that roots you in the brand. It really gets the people involved in the brand and engaged in the brand. There's loads of people out there that are doing what Waterford have done. Maybe none of them quite as outspoken as Mark himself. He's a disruptor. He has always been a disruptor. Yep. He's doing the same with Renegade Rum. He's out doing something different. You know, like terroir on the front of the rum upper comb and the cane type and all that sort of stuff. He's bringing that concept that he brought to it. It'll be interesting how Waterford is perceived in a few years' time. I think they're going to come out of it all right. I'm sure they're hanging on every word that I or me and you say.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that they're going to have this to look back on. I know talking to Ned, you know, there's probably nobody more passionate about whiskey, and evolving from the beer where he was in Guinness. You know, the library of stock and the whiskies that he has now got to play with is phenomenal. And I think that's going to stand him well as well in years to come. They lost people in one, I think, in the pricing, and two, in the so many releases coming out. Now, I'll be the first one to say, the sole purpose of a distillery is to make whiskey and sell it.
Yeah.
It's not to worry about collectors. It's not to worry about. It's to make as much whiskey as humanly possible and get it out in as many markets as possible and sell it and pay the bills, give people a living, give shareholders a return, and give us all good whiskey to drink. And they've done it. I think they've done it very well, but it's always straddling that, you know, collectible, drinkable engagement.
It all comes down to the wallet, babe.
Well, it does always. Ultimately, it comes down to the wallet. But eye-catching on a shelf, it's lovely. And you mentioned earlier about the boxes.
Yeah.
They were shocking.
That was a disaster.
We nearly lost so many bottles. The bottoms of them would drop out. Even this, the cuvee, I mean, it slides up like that there. You know, when we've new staff in here, if they're not used to it, the cardboard boxes, and they were such different quality. You could see the difference in the quality. Some of them were so flimsy, it was terrible. Would have been nice if they had it on the tin, but I suppose all that's going now for environmental reasons.
Yes.
So that's that. That's Mark Reynier, innovation, disruptor. He's a bit like me, doesn't particularly care what he says. I wonder, has Mark Reynier got a U?
I don't know.
Is there a Mrs. Mark Reynier that stands under and kicks him in the ankles and tells him to shut up and all that sort of things? If you have a Mrs. Mark Reynier, Mark, will you please tell us, and so we can talk about Mrs. Mark Reynier. Lads, we are going live on Friday. We've 2 lovely charity items. We've made a few changes to the website. We're never stop here. We're always creating different things. If you have any questions or want to look at any of the bottles in further detail, email into the office, and Alan or Rob or Olivia or any one of the team will look after this. Exactly. Until tomorrow, where we've a wee surprise for you. We'll talk to you then. Good luck and bye.
Bye.